CC, one word to describe today.
Only one word. Unreal. That's fire. Honestly. Unreal.
There are moments in sports that go beyond the scoreboard. Moments that transcend leagues, uniforms, and the traditional lines drawn between college and professional play. Caitlin Clark's return to Carver-Hawkeye Arena was one of those moments. It was supposed to be a WNBA preseason game, a tune-up, a warm-up, just another checkpoint on the way to the Indiana Fever's regular season. But the second Caitlin Clark walked through the tunnel and stepped back onto that hardwood, into that sea of black and gold, it became something entirely different. Different.
What does it mean?
This is the story of her homecoming. This is the story of the Logo 3 that shook the building. This is the story of a fan base, a state, and a sport that refused to let go. And most importantly, it's the story of how Caitlin Clark is already rewriting what it means to be a rookie in the WNBA. Let's start with the obvious. The crowd. Over 15,000 fans packed.
What does it mean to you to be going back to play at Iowa, but this time with your jersey in the rafters?
Yeah, I'm super excited to go back and play at Iowa. Obviously, a place that has meant a lot to me, and we've had so many amazing games inside that arena, so it'll be fun to be back in front of those fans, and honestly, to get to introduce those fans to all my new teammates. And the Indiana Fever, I think, will be really special because they love supporting all of us. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I know it's going to be a special day.
What are you the most excited to show your teammates around campus?
Honestly, I'm most excited to show them how cool I was.
50,000 fans packed Carver-Hawkeye Arena, but it wasn't just a sellout, it was a spiritual reunion. The building pulsed with the same energy we saw during Iowa's Final Four runs, when Clark was launching 30-foot daggers against South Carolina and LSU. Only this time she was wearing Fever red and blue instead of Hawkeye black and gold. They came in jerseys, homemade signs, and even custom Indiana Fever gear with Clark's name already stitched on the back. Families.
People don't realize how good of a college town that place is. My teammates just expect to be cornfields, but I'm like, no, it's one of the greatest colleges. So, yeah, downtown Iowa City is where it's at. So we'll give them a little tour, and I'm sure they're going to want to come.
Families,
yeah, getting to go.
Grandparents, young girls with ponytails and basketball dreams. It was generational. And when Clark ran out of the tunnel, the ovation was deafening. It wasn't just cheers, it was love. It was loyalty. It was the sound of a fan base saying thank you and we miss you all at once. Clark's return wasn't just symbolic for Iowa fans. It was symbolic for women's basketball as a whole. You had a WNBA franchise willing to move a preseason game just so their new star could play in front of her old crowd. That kind of gesture doesn't happen often, not unless you're a generational talent. And Caitlin Clark is exactly that. It sent a message. The WNBA is paying attention. They know where the momentum is.
Yeah, getting to go back to Iowa, it's so exciting. I obviously haven't really been there much since I left about a year ago. And I think just getting to see people that have supported me throughout my career and continue to support me is going to be incredible. But also, like, they're the biggest Indiana Fever fans too now. Like, they want to meet all my teammates. They want to cheer for my teammates. And I was telling some of the girls this the other day, I'm like, they're gonna go crazy for you too. They're gonna have signs about you. They want your autograph. They want a high five from you. And I think that's what I appreciate about them the most is like they wanna cheer not only for myself, but everybody else on this team. And they have so much fun watching us. So now getting to take the Indiana Fever to them and their environment, I was telling Lexi and some of the other girls this the other day is like, this will be the loudest arena you have ever played in. They're gonna scream, they're gonna cheer. When I tell them to get up, they're gonna get up. So it'll be fun to get to go back there since my last time playing there in the NCAA tournament my senior year. So it should be really special.
They know where the momentum is. They're not just cashing in on Caitlin Clark's fame, they're amplifying it, collaborating with it. And that shift is going to matter for years to come. Because what happened in Carver-Hawkeye that night, it wasn't just a homecoming. It was a preview of what the WNBA could be when it leans into its brightest stars. Now let's talk about the shot. With the crowd already buzzing, Clark pulled up from just inside the mid-court logo. Classic Caitlin. A deep three with no hesitation, no second guessing, pure rhythm, pure range. And when it dropped through the net, the building didn't just erupt, it exploded. It wasn't just a bucket, it was a memory. It was Clark reminding everyone that yes, she's a pro now, but she's still the same sniper who redefined distance shooting in college. You could see her teammates' reactions. Aaliyah Boston smiling, Nalissa Smith high-fiving her on the way back down the floor. They weren't just acknowledging a nice play. They were realizing something bigger. Caitlin Clark is built for this. You can learn a lot from how players move together. Watch the Fever in this game and you'll see something interesting. They already look like they trust Clark. Even when she's off the ball, there's a kind of magnetism to her game. Her teammates move with more purpose. The floor spacing changes. The defense stretches. That's what gravity does. And Clark has gravity like Steph Curry. More than that, you see the little things. Clark slapping Sophie Cunningham's hand after a smart pass. She's talking on defense. She's calling out screens. She's owning the floor, not like a rookie, but like a leader. That chemistry is going to take time to fully develop. But even in this preseason setting, you could see the blueprint forming. Clark's return to Iowa wasn't just about nostalgia.
It was electric.
It was
it's what you've seen, whether it's from the outside on television or being here broadcasting, but to actually feel the energy. I mean, it is a thing when you talk about having a six man, so to speak. Crowd energy. It gives you a lift. It gives you a boost. It's why we all do what we do, like to feed into these kinds of environments. And so it was a lot of fun.
Nostalgia.
I think it's hard
It
to
was
put
about transformation. Just months ago, she was leading Iowa to the national championship game. Now she's sharing the floor with Olympians, MVPs, and seasoned pros. And yet, she's still the one everyone is watching. That's not normal. Most rookies take time to adjust to the pace, the physicality, the defensive schemes. But Clark, she's already dictating the terms of engagement. And if that logo 3 was any indication, she's not toning it down for the pros. She's doubling down on her identity. Here's something to consider. Clark isn't just joining the WNBA, she's redefining what it means to be a rookie in it. Think about it. How many rookies walk into the league with this much pressure and still deliver? She's not just a player, she's a phenomenon. And that comes with expectations. Every arena she steps into will be sold out.
I think it's hard to put into words like what exactly it means to me. It's almost overwhelming to a point. Like I'm just very, very thankful to be able to come back to a place that continues to support me and see old friends that are having a great time getting to watch me do my thing, that don't play basketball anymore, that are just my friends, and spending time with them, like even though it was just dinner last night, like it's just fun to come back here and like kind of feel like you're in college again in a way, but also it was a little weird, like
Into will be sold out. Every possession will be dissected. Every shot will trend. But in Iowa, she showed she's ready for that. She didn't just embrace the moment, she owned it. After the game, Clark was all smiles. She thanked the fans, praised her teammates, and even got a little emotional talking about what Iowa meant to her. It just felt right being back, she said. This place will always be a part of me. That's the kind of connection you can't fake. And it's what makes her so special, not just her shooting, but her story. Her willingness to carry the weight of expectations, of legacy, of history. Clark's return to Iowa didn't just sell tickets, it shifted perception. It showed that WNBA preseason games can feel like college playoff games. It proved that women's basketball has demand, passion, and generational stars. And it also gave us a glimpse of the future, because if this is what a preseason game looks like with Caitlin Clark involved, just wait until the regular season hits. You could feel it in every cheer, every sign, every tear in the crowd. This wasn't just a basketball audience. These were people who had invested years of their lives in Caitlin Clark's journey. Some fans drove hours just to be there. Some had been season ticket holders since her freshman year, and others. They were young girls holding up signs that read, "I want to be like Caitlin." That's what makes her different. It's not just that she scores, it's how she scores. It's what she represents. For Iowa fans, Clark isn't just a former player, she's a once-in-a-lifetime icon. And this return felt like closure, but also a new beginning. You don't usually get to say goodbye and hello at the same time, but that's exactly what this game allowed them to do. The media attention surrounding this preseason game was unprecedented. National sports outlets flew in reporters. ESPN gave it highlight treatment. Social media buzzed for days before and after. It trended on X, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, and all for a preseason game. That's the Caitlin Clark effect. This wasn't just a local Iowa story anymore, it was a national moment. Analysts debated her fit with the Fever. Talk shows discussed her impact on viewership. Even NBA players chimed in on social media. We've never seen this kind of media weight placed on a WNBA rookie preseason appearance. But Clark handled it like she always does, with poise, grace, and just enough fire to keep everyone watching. Before tip-off, cameras caught a brief moment of Clark sitting alone on the bench, soaking it all in. The empty arena slowly filling, the banners she helped hang in the rafters, the logo at center court she made famous. You could see it on her face. Gratitude, nerves, maybe even a little disbelief. After all, this was a full circle moment, one few athletes ever get to experience in such dramatic fashion. Then came warm-ups. The crowd started building. Her name was announced. And she was back, not as a college hero, but as a professional. That transformation, emotional, personal, and symbolic, was one of the most powerful undercurrents of the entire night. One of the most powerful visuals came from the sidelines, not during the game, but in the crowd. Lisa Bluder, Iowa's legendary head coach, was there, watching, cheering, smiling like a proud parent. She wasn't just celebrating her former player. She was witnessing the culmination of everything they built together. Bluder helped shape Clark into more than just a scorer. She helped her develop into a leader, a thinker, a transcendent presence on and off the court. Seeing Bluder in the stands reminded us all, this wasn't just about Caitlin Clark returning home. It was about a legacy returning to its roots, fully bloomed. After the game, comparisons started flying once again. Many pointing to Diana Taurasi's recent comments about how Caitlin would have to learn real fast in the WNBA. Well, if this game was any indication, she's already learning fast and putting the league on notice. Clark's Logo 3 wasn't just a shot, it was an answer, a statement, a nod to the old guard that the new era is not only coming, it's here. And as more veterans weigh in, more comparisons will follow. Taurasi, Sue Bird, Maya Moore. But Clark doesn't have to be any of them. She's building her own lane, one logo shot, one homecoming, one packed arena at a time. One of the most beautiful things about Caitlin Clark's return to Carver-Hawkeye Arena was witnessing 3 generations of fans showing up together. Grandparents in Hawkeye sweatshirts, parents wearing vintage Clark jerseys, and young girls holding signs that read, "Future Hawkeye." For many families, watching Caitlin play has become a generational bonding experience. Grandmothers reminisced about watching Cheryl Miller. Fathers remembered watching Iowa games in the early 2000s, but Clark united them all. One moment caught on camera showed a teary-eyed grandfather hugging his granddaughter after Caitlin's first three-pointer. That's when you realize this isn't just basketball, it's memory-making in real time. This preseason game wasn't just a sporting event, it was a business showcase for what women's sports can be. Ticket prices skyrocketed, merch sold out. Local businesses near the arena reported record foot traffic. ESPN called it one of the most watched WNBA preseason clips in recent memory, and the Fever's social media engagement tripled overnight. Clark has become a brand builder, a catalyst. Her presence in the WNBA is shifting how advertisers, networks, and sponsors view women's sports. From Nike to Gatorade to Wilson, major brands are now treating WNBA rookies the way they treat NBA lottery picks. And it all traces back to one name, Caitlin Clark. Despite being a rookie, Clark's voice in the Indiana Fever huddle stood out. During stoppages, she wasn't just listening, she was talking, calling plays, hyping up teammates, directing off-ball movement. That's rare. It takes time for a rookie to earn the trust to lead vocally. But Clark, she's already embraced that role, and her teammates are responding. Sophie Cunningham nodded during one timeout as Clark pointed out defensive switches. Nalissa Smith gave her a fist bump after one assist. Even Kelsey Mitchell, a veteran scorer, shared smiles after their 2-man game clicks. She's not just fitting in, she's elevating the whole system. What's happening with the Indiana Fever isn't just about individual talent, it's about a vibe shift. And Clark is at the center of it. This team, once at the bottom of the standings, now feels energized, joyful, and focused. During warm-ups, the players were laughing. During timeouts, they were locked in. After the game, they embraced like a squad that's been through playoff battles together. Caitlin Clark's arrival brought more than hype. It brought hope, and it's contagious. Brianna Turner was boxing out harder. Aaliyah Boston was smiling more. Even the coaching staff seemed looser. Something's clicking, and it started the moment Clark stepped on the court. Think about this. Caitlin Clark's final college game was played in a sold-out arena under the brightest lights of the NCAA tournament. Now, Her first professional moment back in Iowa happens in that same environment, with the same energy, the same intensity, but with a new chapter beginning. It's poetic. Most athletes don't get to return to the place they became legends. They leave and move on. But Caitlin, she came back and added to the legacy. She walked through those same tunnels, but this time, not as a college kid, but as a pro. And the fans greeted her like a queen coming home. Let's not downplay this. A WNBA preseason game just had national attention, sold-out crowds, and viral highlights. That's unheard of, and it's all because of Clark's gravity. But this is bigger than just her. What she's doing is raising the floor for everyone in the league. More people now know about Boston, Smith, Mitchell, and Turner. More fans are tuning in. More young girls are picking up basketballs and saying, "I want to be part of this." This isn't just Caitlin's rise, it's a cultural tipping point for the entire WNBA. As the final buzzer echoed through Carver-Hawkeye Arena and Caitlin Clark jogged back to the locker room to chants of MVP, something powerful hung in the air. This wasn't just the end of a game. It was the beginning of something so much bigger. This night, this preseason moment, felt like a season finale and season premiere rolled into one. It reminded us of what Caitlin Clark meant to Iowa, but it also showed us what she's about to mean to the entire WNBA. She's not just a scorer. She's a symbol, a spark, a once-in-a-generation player who is dragging women's basketball into a new era, louder, brighter, and more respected than ever before. And this was only Game 1. We'll remember the logo 3, the crowd noise, the laughter between Clark and Boston, the confidence, the love, the history. Because no matter how far she goes, from Indiana to All-Star Games to future championships, Caitlin Clark will always have Carver-Hawkeye in her heart. And this arena, this fan base, this state, they'll always have her back. The homecoming is over. Now the WNBA chapter begins, and trust me, it's going to be unforgettable.